Today we are going to learn to write the letter Sheen, Sheen, and the word Al-QADDUS. Both the letters Sheen and Sheen share the same base shape, so we'll focus on that and then add the 3 dots for the Sheen later. As I show you on the worksheet, watch out for some of these details. Let's work off this line as our reference. We're starting here, which is the highest point of the letter Sheen vertically. This first stroke, you come down about 1/4, and then by the time you do the second stroke, an additional 1/4 for a total of a 1/2 nukta difference from here to here. Similarly, we drop down another 1/2 nukta by the time we finish the final stroke on the Sheen. Their bottom curves also vary in height, so this curve is slightly lower than this curve. Lastly, the strokes used to shape the base of this Sheen is similar to a lot of other letters. So learning this and practicing this is going to come in handy in the Noon, the Sod, the Lam. So it's going to get reused many times. Don't worry if you don't get it right the first time, just keep at it and you'll notice you continue to make improvements. These starting strokes are the same as the letter Ba. This one is small and this one is about twice as long. Let's get started. Starting from the beginning to the very end, lengthwise, we have 3 nuktas forming the starting shape, an additional 5 nuktas forming the cup. In height, it's a total of 5 nuktas long, 2 nuktas for the first part, and approximately 3 for the base. It starts out very similar to the letter Ba. Place your pen at about 75-80 degrees, and you're going to make a small stroke very similar to the letter Ba. So come in and make that initial stroke. From here, we don't come all the way down. We come down about 1.5 nuktas. We're going to come almost horizontal and curve up slightly. And what we're going for is approximately 1.5 nukta, but we're keeping it fairly low. So for this stroke here, keep it fairly horizontal and come across just a little. Go past the first nukta, almost to 1.5 nukta. The next part of the stroke, this piece, a stroke starting higher but not quite as high as the initial line. We come down to the bottom of the second nukta here. There's a gap here. Again, we start to curve up, but we don't need to continue the stroke completely. The next stroke will cover this previous one. So it's just like the letter Ba. Start out at about 70-80 degrees. Make a taller version of that same shape. From here, we're going to hold our pen at a shallower angle, and we're going to increase it as we come to the bottom. Here we're level across, and we curve our pen up to this point, which is a nukta below our original starting height. Now, to emphasize some of these height differences, this first stroke and second stroke, they are coming in and getting lower and lower. We're dropping down about 1/4 nukta here and a 1/2 nukta by the time we're here, so additional 1/4 nukta here. So between this first stroke and the second stroke, we have reduced our height by 1/2 nukta. And then from this point to this point, we have come down another 1/2 nukta. So if this is our original height, we've come down almost a full nukta total. So again here, almost another 1/2 nukta. Aim for about 1 nukta total from start to finish here. Width-wise, we have 3 nuktas for our first starting point, but this curve actually starts at this line on the top, but because your pen is at an angle, it actually extends past that line on the bottom. So over here, it's actually past that initial line. Our total width in this section is 5 nuktas. So this is actually an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nuktas. It's often measured on the inside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nuktas. And this stroke, as you come down, is slightly curved for the first 4 nuqtas, the low point being here, and then to finish this final stroke in the last nuqta and a half. As you drop down this stroke, you can think of this as about a little over a nuqta. Altogether in height, we have 2 nuqtas for the first portion, and then an additional 3 nuqtas approximately, for making a total height of approximately 5 nuqtas. Let's try this again. And if you want to follow along, use the link in the description below to download these PDF worksheets I've created. I'm going to use this as a reference line. Overall, I'm focusing on the heights and the width, and the rest is practicing the strokes. So the first stroke is like the letter Ba. From here, we're mostly horizontal. Then we come back up to approximately this 1 nuqta point here. And then we're going to come all the way down. So here, come all the way down. Like that. Once again, we're going to start with the stroke from the letter Ba, only taller. Continue with a shallow stroke that straightens out when you get to the bottom. And then from here, your pen is at its widest point, and you swing that up. One more time, focusing on the height here first, the 2 nuqtas. Start of the Ba, followed by this horizontal stroke, overlapping, coming down to this height of 2, start to swing up. From here, a tall start to the Ba, followed by this, and then finish with the curve up. Once again, small stroke like you're starting a Ba, come across horizontally, leaving a small gap, extend up and across, tall version of the Ba, total height 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nuqtas. Width up to here 3 nuqtas. And then this part sticks out about half a nuqta. This part, remember, is below here. So you have about a half nuqta in drop here. And remember here, this to this is another half nuqta drop. Small gap here, quarter nuqta, small gap here, quarter nuqta. So this is coming downward, quarter nuqta, and this is coming downward another half. Let's practice that again. Small start to the Ba, come across, vertical version of the Ba, come across. Go nice and slow on this. You're rolling your pen in this Ba. You're starting out with a wide 80-degree starting angle, and then you're swinging down, coming in almost vertical at the bottom, so it becomes nice and thin. Here you're starting out at a pretty low angle and becoming vertical toward the bottom. Vertical by the time you reach the bottom. From the bottom, you're at the widest point, and you're swinging up and making that curve. Alright, continuing on, practicing on just a plain sheet. If you're not using the downloaded worksheets and you're just working on a plain sheet, start out by making 3 nuktas. 1, 2, 3. These will define the starting point, and vertically you'll have 1, 2 for the first part, and then you'll have 3 more for the second part. Remember, when you start out the letter, it's similar to the letter Ba. Starting at the highest point, you come down, you become vertical, but you don't come all the way down. Then come across fairly horizontally. Then aiming at that approximately 1 nukta over this point, you're coming up higher, and then you're coming down then you are a total of half nukta below. You're 1/2 nukta below for the starting point, and you're slightly over, about half nukta over for the base of your pen. And you're going to move, you're going to create this vertical Ba shape. From here, you're coming over a total of 5 more nuktas. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your total width. So from here, at a shallow angle, so you've come down a total of approximately 1 nukta from the start to the finish, about half a nukta on this first portion, and then about half a nukta on this second portion. So once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 nuktas. And we're going to go height-wise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nuktas. The first part, 2 and 3. The next part is going to be here and here, and you're going to have a total of 1 nukta height change. Half will be here, other half will be here for the end stroke. Start out like the letter Ba, vertical, come across, aim up at that point, aim up toward the first nukta, come down, then you're going to be starting at that, a tall vertical letter Ba. From here, so this time I'm going to use just approximate width guide, approximate length guide, and set up just a little bit of support for height. So 2 nuktas for the first part, 3 for the second part, and we'll work off of that. So start here, kind of the start of a Ba, come across, aim up, come down about a half a nukta, from here, straighten out, and again half a nukta lower here, lower, lower. We're going to do the same thing again. This will be our width. establish only the height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be the height, total height. Start out like the letter Ba. Don't come all the way down 2 nuqtas. Come across a little bit. Aim back up. And then come across. Starting here. Come down. From here. You notice sometimes I'm not perfect on the width, on the height and the width. Trying to get the shapes right, the proportions right, get my hand movement to be smooth. So even if I do not get absolute perfect proportions, I'm okay with that. I will double check my width here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's looking about right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start out like the Ba, come across. Okay, now working without any support. Simply add 3 nuqtas on top to make the letter Sheen. The name I'm going to choose from the Asma al-Husna today is Al-Quddus. Al-Quddus means the pure one, the one who is free from all errors. Al-Quddus makes good use of some of the letters we've already learned. I'm going to try to write Al-Quddus a few different ways. hope you found this useful. Please be sure to share and subscribe. I'll see you next time. God bless.